handle.
You want answers!
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Yes, very rapid.
That just sounds corrupt.
It's 6 days after, and it's mimicking. It's trying to put together the same type of thing that Campos has to make it mirror each other. That's the only excuse for it.
I'm gonna try to get through this thing, man.
And
let me try to get through this thing. So,
okay,
because it's just worthless here. Anyway, so detective says, could you tell where those shots? I'm sorry, I recalled what you said because when you take cover and the rounds start coming down, you feel something hit your back. Now, he never said anything about that to this point.
Is this the detective telling him this?
Yes.
Telling him that he got hit in the back.
Right. Shuck says yes.
Shuck hasn't said anything about that.
No.
I'm telling you, man, this is as corrupt as it gets. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to say we're just presenting the facts. You make the call.
You make the call. Just the truth, baby.
I just want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Can't handle the truth.
So the detective says, and you're not sure what that is exactly. No, Shuck says.
No, I'm not.
Detective says, okay. Shuck says, actually, I forgot to put this detail in.
Ah, of course you did. It's like, hey, you forgot this. Somebody in the room doing this.
I'm out. Yeah. I forgot to put this detail in there, Shuck said.
Yes.
When I got back to the center core, I told Shannon, my supervisor, I was like, hey, check me out. I don't know if I was hit. When I got home that night, I had a bruise like, yeah.
I was shot. Read it.
He says, I was like, hey, check me out. I don't know I don't know if I was hit. When I got home that night, I had a bruise like that big. He must have shown him something. And I think it was a piece of drywall or something that hit me in the side. Detective says, okay, it was in your shirt, in the back. Was there a defect? Or, a hole or any tear or scratch? Shuck says no. JP, the detective, says, any discoloration? Shuck says no. Detective says, that you can think of?
What does this go? This door right here is this riser for the elevators below.
Just watch this hallway because the shooting came from that door at the end of the hall. So this is like a bad area to stand if they start to shoot.
Hey, we got people down here. Oh, we got more metro coming this way.
No, that look like, oh yeah, it is.
Hey, tell them we're down here.
There's like a break area up there. There's a lower roof, especially on the east side of all the clear.
Hey, I'm gonna go down and liaise with these other officers. Come on, fucking.
So, no, this way. So the shooting came from the room at the very end of the hallway. We've cleared all the rooms up to the point where you can see the officers. Burke is kind of headed it up. But the shooting came from the double doors at the very end of the hallway.
Okay.
They got I think they got 4 rifles.
Okay.
So, I don't know how many shooters there are, but or if they're contained to that room yet.
Yeah. Is there any engineer on the 32nd floor that you want to search the elevators? By the time they get ready. I'm gonna head down there. Let me know.
Okay.
Stay inside the elevator room. Don't come out.
The older white girl, the team in a black bag went into the photo room.
You trying to kick in that door, you wouldn't have to run.
No, sir. All right. If we can set up, just cover our asses because we're walking down the hall.
Where's he at?
He's down this hall.
He's at the very end of this hall.
He already fired down the hall. He's got our belt fed with him.
You can smell the.
So, when's the last time you fired?
It's been a while.
So we'll worry about containment right now.
He's
So we're just
barricaded.
containing.
Yes.
20 minutes.
So cover our asses, and we're gonna go back down to.
Are they gonna get these people out here? Can we get them to the stairs? Let's get them to the stairs. If they head off this direction, they're out of the line of fire. Yeah, we'll get them.
Come down the stairs.
We'll cover you guys, just get across the hall. Come on, guys. Come on, let's go. Go. We got more down there.
Yeah, we got more down there. We're gonna go back up with them. If you guys can cover our asses while we're working down there, okay?
Okay, do we want more rifles up there?
They got
No, we
four.
got plenty of long guns down there.
All right.
Just cover our asses with that. All right, you guys want to head back down?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Hang on a second.
Shuck says,
Oh, yeah.
because I mean, we're also engineers. We get dirty.
Yes, you do. Right here. Right here. Yes.
The detective says, sure, that happens all the time. Shuck says,
This is a comedy act.
oh God, when you go line by line, it's horrible.
Oh, my
So
God.
Shuck says, I have been checking a leak that has broken drywall above it.
Good to see you.
Good morning. Thank you.
We just learned, Stephen, about all that you went through in this experience. So I guess the first question is how you're doing right now.
I'm doing as well as expected. Better as the days pass.
And take us through it, Stephen. There's been a lot of confusion about how this all transpired. What happened?
My side, my story, I was on a higher floor when I was called to check out a fire exit door that would not open. So I came down to the 32nd floor from a different wing, and I was walking down. I didn't hear anything. Kept walking. I turned the corner from what we call the center court into the 100 hallway. I thought I saw someone poke their head out, but nothing set off my radar unusual yet, and it was silent at this time. And as I kept walking down the hallway, I was about a third of the way down the hallway, and I started to hear shots go off. They were not in the hallway yet, and as soon as they stopped, I saw Jesus pop out because the doors in the hallway are set back about a foot, and he popped out and he yelled at me to take cover. As soon as I started to go to a door to my left, the rounds started coming down the hallway. I could feel them pass right behind my head. Something hit me in the back, and I took cover. I tried to think how I could get to Jesus because I could see that he was shot in the leg. And I just told myself, wait for him. He's going to have to stop shooting sometime. And it was kind of relentless. So I called over the radio what was going on. As soon as the shooting stopped, we made our way down the hallway and took cover again, and then the shooting started again.
Hey, Stephen, let me just say something. We've heard this audio recording now. First of all, how did you remain so calm? Maybe your voice betrays what was going on actually inside of you. And second of all, if the reports are true that there were 200 rounds fired by the gunman into the hall, you must feel incredibly lucky that you weren't hit.
Yeah, I am incredibly blessed that somehow I came out of there alive. When he first started shooting, I was kind of in disbelief, but I told myself, remain calm. If I freak out right now, it's only going to get me killed or injured, and remain calm and, call it over the radio so we can get police on their way as soon as possible.
Stephen, you mentioned Jesus Campos, who of course is the security guard who received a gunshot wound. He warned you. He said, get down or get out. Do you feel he saved your life?
Yes. My whole family and we all appreciate him. At first, when the first shooting started, I was kind of frozen for a second, and he yelled at me, take cover, and if he yelled a second too late, I would have been shot. So I owe him my life.
What happened when the police arrived, Stephen? Were you still there?
I was still there, yes. We kind of were directing him, like, it's this hallway, at the end of the hallway. Me and Jesus, we never saw the door open, so we thought he was shooting from the people in the door. We were just telling police that, and then my supervisor was there. He handed me his master keys, and I ran down and shut off all the guest elevators and stopped guests on the basement floor. Just let them know we have an incident upstairs, stay down here. And then I made my way back up to the 32nd floor to give him his keys so he could give them to the police so they could use them.
Stephen, after going through something like this, do you see yourself, can you go back to work there? Can you ever feel the same way about going back to work at that hotel?
Yeah, it's definitely difficult, but for someone to do something so cowardly and, despicable, I'm not going to let that change my life. I'm going to go back to work, and I like my career, and I'm not going to let that define me.
Stephen, you were incredibly brave in the most unfathomable of circumstances. Please give our best to Jesus, your colleague, and we appreciate your time this morning. We really do.
Thank you, Stephen.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Hello to. And how are you doing, Stephen?
It's definitely hard. As each day passes, though, we're working to get over this.
See, Stephen, at this point, so you're called up. You just think that you're coming to look at a door that's been blocked in the firewall, right?
Yeah, I didn't think anything out of the ordinary at the time. I came from a higher floor and came down a different hallway, service elevator, and I walked out. I rounded the corner for the 100 hallway, and that's when it was quiet at this time, and the doors are set back, as you can see in that, about a foot. And Jesus was towards the end of the hallway, but I didn't know at that time. I thought I saw someone hop out of the cubby, and I kept walking. And once I got more than halfway, is when I saw Jesus, and I started to hear shooting. And I thought at the time I didn't know it was shooting. I thought it was a jackhammer. And as an engineer, I'm like, we're not working up here this late at night. We wouldn't be doing that.
Right.
And it was, I believe, outside. It wasn't in the hallway yet. And that's when Jesus, he leaned out and he said, take cover, and yelled at me. And within milliseconds, if he didn't say that, I would have got hit.
Because he was still shooting. So you would have been hit had he not told you.
Yeah, it wasn't even fully in cover, and they were passing behind my head, and I could feel the pressure.
You could feel the pressure going past you, just even being out of the way.
Yeah.
All right, and Stephen?
Definitely, I want to thank the first responders and people on the ground at the show helping each other out. I think the acts of humanity were major that night, and I want to thank Jesus again from my family and all my friends and everybody for saving my life.
Yeah.
Towards the crowd, well, I didn't know that at the time. I had no idea what was going on at the time.
What did it sound like to you?
It sounded like a jackhammer, because you never expect to hear something like that. I know something hit me in the back as I was jumping in the cover. At the time, I was like, oh, I might be shot.
Someone's firing a gun up here. Someone's firing a rifle on the 32nd floor down the hallway.
if I don't come out of this hallway alive, I wanted to communicate for Metro and first responders to get up there because this is where the shooter is.
Shannon, call the police. Someone's firing a gun up here. Someone's firing a rifle on the 32nd floor down the hallway. Control units responding to 32.
All the first responders, paramedics, EMTs, for responding so fast. Those, to me, are just my heroes, you know.
You saved countless lives down below. What goes through your mind when you think that?
Just doing my job. I did it to the best of my ability. And then some.
I feel like I got a second chance, and 58 people didn't, and I need to live a good life to honor them.
62nd floor. Detective says, completely unfair question on my part.
What?
I don't...
This is a massacre investigation.
There
is no unfair questions.
No, he got...
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.